Welcome to the bold analysis. For how long will David Ndii continue blaming William Ruto that the government is still wasteful? If you look at the tweet here, the government, he's still continuing to say, he's still saying the government is wasteful. And I think some of us that are out, who are not in government and in the media space, we're the ones that can complain. Is it about time that David Ndii resigns and leaves William Ruto instead of sitting out and complaining that government is wasteful? Or has he tried convincing President Ruto on the wastefulness of the UDA administration in vain? Welcome to the bold analysis. Thank you very much for supporting this podcast. Yes, and I want to still say thank you for those who supported me in this endeavor. Now, in this tweet, there was an audit report by the Auditor General that flagged hospitality and travels, foreign travels, as part of the budget that has gobbled taxpayers' money. A record 9 months expenditure by President Ruto has outlived 5 years of Uhuru Kenyatta as a president. Even for the 5 years that Uhuru Kenyatta was a president, the same time, more of what William Ruto spent here has broken the record. And has come out to say, and when flagging that report, David Ndii, who is supposed to be economic advisor, is indeed saying and complaining that Ruto is wasteful. This phenomena is showing me something. And clearly, maybe, the office of that office of David Ndii does not benefit from those travels. The travels is only by the political. While these travels have been gobbling money, because when president is traveling somewhere, he will always want to pick some few MPs here and there, and these MPs are supposed to be, its travels are for smoothening. There are people in government who don't have jobs. They did not become MPs, they are not MCAs, they are not in parastatals, but they are in some sort of a list where whenever the president is going out, they are included as part of President William Ruto's advance team. Then through that, in one trip, even to Geneva, you can come back and complete that house that you started, and even open up some very big launch and buy some big car just by one trip. So these trips have been gobbling taxpayers' money because they are also used for political smoothing. Where and some of these people, when they get these slots, even members of President advancing, when they get these slots, they're told, we are going to Geneva, so we have a chance of some 5 people, 6 people, 10 people. Then you pick your girlfriends also, pick your girlfriends and proxies here and there, and carry yourself with them to those foreign missions. So the foreign missions have been gobbling money, and it is indeed true. So David Ndii is saying, there is clearly, when you see him coming out in Twitter, it is a sheer demonstration of frustration. That, of course, maybe has tried to make it, but is a bit of frustration. And it's also clearly showing something that my good friend Ruben Kigame is telling President Ruto. Ruben Kigame is a former presidential candidate. I still believe that he's still going to be in the ballot in the next year's general election. He's saying that we just need to suspend. I know we cannot completely suspend, but we need to relook our travels as one of the ways of managing our recurrent expenditure. Let me just tell you something. Let me educate you a bit on, give you some information. In this country, we have consolidated fund. Consolidated fund is running 3 accounts. There is a revenue account, there is a trust, and the loan account. Now, The revenue account is where recurrent expenditure is withdrawn. And for many, recurrent expenditure has been explained as paying salaries. It's not only paying salaries. The travels fall under recurrent expenditure. Now, one of the reasons why we are spending a lot of money, the percentage of our revenue that goes to expenditure to recurrent expenditure is 70%. Kenyans have been made to believe that 70% goes into paying salaries. It's not exclusively that. One of the reasons, the virus why our recurrent expenditure, our recurrent budget as a percentage of our revenue is high is because of these travels. One of the reasons is those travels, because they are gobbling money, extra cash. You know, as a country, we can know very well, and one of them is ghost workers. We can know very well that in a month, salaries, we are going to pay X amount of money. But when it comes to the foreign travels, guys, the number is decided by political emotion and the nature of that office. When someone believes I need to go out with 30 and 10 advance, I will. Were it not in Egypt that in the COP27 summit, we took a record number of 85 Kenyans there. Look at air tickets. There is air ticket, there is the cost of hotel, the cost of food, accommodation, and then there is also leisure. Kuna pesa tumepatia tu watu waende wanunue masaa za gold. You know, and that's why when David Ndii is talking about these things, we need to take them seriously. And that is one of the reasons why it has gone so far. Now, it is also proving to us that the opposition voice that our problem is expenditure. Myself in the bold have been saying our problem is not about who is giving us money. Even if we will be in a position to fund 90% of our budget with our taxes, but if our taxes are still going to be misused under a flawed government system, then we are far from reality of economic recovery. In fact, we are continuing to dig. We're already in a hole, and it's true we're not coming out of that hole because we will continue digging that hole. The problem is governance. Clearly, when I can tell David Ndii that sometimes you will be judged by history. If you honestly feel, and for Kenyans to take you seriously, even if you want to help the country, is don't join us in crime. There's no need of the crying of wasteful, that government is wasteful, while you are still earning salaries from the same government. Yes, you're still drawing salaries. It looks like you're not honest about it. I think the most important thing is you relinquish your position and come out and join those who are saying, at least if you leave, those in power might raise and see that, okay, because so and so is complaining about our expenditure, maybe indeed this is a problem that has merged deep and it's getting out there. It's number one going to amplify the fact that our governance is rotten, and the need for us to address the issue of our governance is going to receive a boost. So that is it. I don't believe that honestly is raising a red flag, but something is not working. What the assertion by David Ndii also proves is that the plan collapsed. I'm using the word proved because we've been saying that the plan collapsed. It was either it collapsed, it died a natural death, or it was not even intended to be planned, or it was never there. And if you ask me, the last one is the right one. The plan was never there. The emotional emancipation, emotional lifting of the hustler was just in the campaign trail, but it has not been seen in actions. That is the reality. That the plan that we shouted that we want to lift those people at the lower part of the pyramid, it was just a mere statement. It was never there. And you know, the reason why when someone like David Ndii is raising this, it's something that I'm linking it to it, is because the brain behind bottom-up economic model was David Ndii. And I remember those economic forums, him spending taxpayers' money and President Ruto spending money in the campaign, moving so that David Ndii was the face of the economic recovery of the president, of UDA. He was the face of the economy. Now, the same chief economist, you know, the position was even created, chief economist was created to make sure that this happens, that this economic thing, this economic recovery is implemented, is the one coming out to complain. That tells you clearly there is some sort of frustration. But lastly, the problem also, that is one thing I want to say, it is called layers of advisory. David Ndii is just another layer. The president have a number of advisors. Economic Recovery Council, I was just listening, I was just shocked the other day saying, someone asking why do Moses Koi have 6 advisors? All these ministries have economic advisors. Office of the Deputy President have economic advisors with, you know, and even in Salim Davadi have economic advisors. William Ruto has the economic advisors. The Treasury has someone of the seasoned civil servants, economic of the advisors who are civil servants, seasoned civil servants that are on the economy. Leave alone the blue-eyed boys that are just coming now here for the government of the day. There are people that have been there, people that have been sitting in those files. But Ruto seems not to be listening to the team that is around him. And that is why I do believe that, as I said, when UDA fails, we fail. When you succeed, we succeed. That is why people like David Ndii should do the most honorable thing to the people of Kenya. If you think things are bad, just walk out. And maybe you're walking out, the media might cover it, and it will amplify the fact that the house is hot. Swahili guys say, mambo imeharibika mara moja, ama mambo imechemka. Let's meet in the next. Thank you very much for watching, and we meet in next podcast on Sunday. Thank you.